Hey guys, I want to quickly touch on a couple gaps on a popular Mad King Aerys burn them all theory, and I'll present another option. In short, I do not think that Bran was involved. Instead, I think Bloodraven had his hand in it. And second, I do not think that it directly relates to a scene from Season 6, Episode 6. I think it went down differently. Major Season 6 spoilers ahead, so please close out now if you're not caught up through Season 6 of Game of Thrones. So after the infamous Hold the Door episode of Season 6, a popular theory emerged. People suspect that Bran whispered burn them all to Mad King Aerys. The line burn them all is pretty suspicious, so I agree that there's something there might be. But if anyone whispered something to Mad King Aerys, I think it was Bloodraven, not Bran. Let's re-listen to Bran's last vision. We hear the phrase burn them all 4 times. The first 2 are clearly Mad King Aerys yelling it. Here are the first 2.
Burn them all! Where's my sister?
The third time is also Mad King Aerys yelling it, but right before he yells it, there's another voice that says the first word, burn, and I am almost positive that this other voice is Bloodraven's. Let's listen to it. Did you hear it? It's quick, so I'll replay that one word 5 times. Let me know in the comment section if you think that that voice is Bloodraven's or someone else's. So that's the first piece of evidence, which suggests to me that if anyone whispered something to Mad King Aerys, it was Bloodraven, not Bran. Now let's look at the similarities, or rather, the differences to Hold the Door Hodor. First off, we need to take a look at the Mad King's madness compared to Hodor's. If we go back to Season 1, Episode 3, Jaime suggested the Mad King was repeating the line, burn them all, for hours.
What about Aerys Targaryen? What did the Mad King say when you stabbed him in the back?
He said the same thing he'd been saying for hours. Burn them all.
But I think this might be misleading. From a conversation with Brienne in Season 3, Episode 5, we learned that the Mad King was saying burn them all a lot, but he was saying it a few different ways, and he was also saying other things as well in his final hours.
He told me to bring him my father's head. Then he turned to his pyromancer. Burn them all, he said.
Let's pretend that the Mad King did get Hodored. If that happened, it means that the Mad King was Hodored in his very last few hours, unlike Hodor, who was Hodored decades before his final demise. Keep in mind, Bran was with Hodor in both the present and in a vision. So if this is a prerequisite to screwing someone up, then it could not have been Bran because Aerys and Bran were never alive at the same time. And it probably could not have been Bloodraven either, since Bloodraven vanished north of the Wall 31 years before the Mad King died. But to play devil's advocate, we don't know for sure that you have to be with the person in the present and in a vision. That was certainly the catalyst for why Bran's skin changed into Hodor during the Hold the Door scene, but it doesn't confirm that all those factors were necessary to screw Hodor up. It might have been more simple. Maybe Hodor got screwed up simply because Bran used both of his powers, skin changing while green seeing, skin changing while being in a vision. So if that's true, then either Bran or Bloodraven could have messed up Mad King Aerys, because you wouldn't have had to be alive with him at the same time, and you wouldn't have had to physically be with him at the same time that you skin change him from within a vision of the past. But here's the first argument against this theory. Bran was telling Hodor to hold the door. Why would Bran or Bloodraven tell the Mad King to burn the innocent civilians of King's Landing? They wouldn't. There is one reason. I have a tinfoil matrix theory about population size being the catalyst for the Night King's return, but I'll save that for another video. For this one, I just don't think that Bran and Bloodraven would be telling Mad King Aerys to blow up the city. It doesn't make sense. A decent theory is that Bran is skin changed into Mad King Aerys in a vision while him and his friends are being attacked by whites in the future. Someone yelling burn them all may carry through unintentionally from Bran to the Mad King. But the flaw in this theory is that, as of now, there's no reason for Bran to be skin changing the Mad King in the past. If you can think of one, please let me know. So here's another theory. It may have been a whisper that got misinterpreted slowly over time. So let's take a step back and look at Mad King Aerys' fall into madness. Mad King Aerys was nuts. But he did not suddenly go mad and spend his last few hours saying burn them all. As I mentioned earlier, there's evidence that the Mad King was still saying other things besides burn them all at the time of his death. He was telling Jaime to kill Tywin, and he was saying things like how he wanted to burn himself as well because he thought that he'd turn into a dragon. So unlike Hodor, he went crazy slowly over time. He thought that everyone was against him, so he obtained Varys to be his master of whisperers. Granted, this probably only made him crazier. He cut out Sir Ilan Payne's tongue for saying that the kingdom was really being run by his hand, Tywin Lannister, and he was commanding pyromancers to create wildfire and store it all around the city, even under the Red Keep. This was not something that happened in his final few hours. All of this happened over the course of many years. Meanwhile, he was burning people frequently. The dude was spiraling into craziness in a very different way than Hodor did. I'll do a detailed Game of Thrones 101 video on Mad King Aerys soon, but the fact of the matter is, even at the very end, he was not only saying burn them all.
Burn them in their homes, burn them in their beds.
His situation was different than Hodor's. So instead of Bran and Bloodraven skin changing into him and telling him to burn them all, I think that one of them was trying to get him to prepare wildfire in advance of the war versus the Dead Army. And since it sounds like Bloodraven saying that one word burn in Bran's vision, I think that there's a good chance that Bloodraven was the person attempting to get Mad King Aerys to prepare for the wars to come. But his message was not clear, so instead of completely screwing up Aerys the way Bran did to Hodor by skin changing from within a vision, I think that it's more likely that Bloodraven was simply whispering to Aerys from within visions, but without having skin changed into Aerys, and as a result, the message was not clear and it slowly drove Aerys insane. But here's one last piece of the puzzle that's difficult to place, but it seems pretty important. Let's keep this on our radar. Alright, let's go back to Bran's vision. The first 2 times we heard the phrase burn them all, it was the Mad King, and the 3rd time seems to start with Bloodraven saying the word burn. But check out the 4th time that we hear the phrase. You'll notice that it's a new voice, not Mad King Aerys, and not Bloodraven. It sounds like a younger dude, but not Bran. Whose voice is this? Maybe it's a younger Bloodraven? Maybe this is a sign that he was whispering to Mad King Aerys over a long period of time. Please let me know in the comment section if you have any ideas, and hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, got a lot of videos coming out shortly.